That probably was on the bus. Hello out there. If you guys can hear us, I want to go ahead and put a little thumbs up in the comments or something.
It's our first time getting this setup going, and we weren't expecting it. But just due to things going on, we just want to have a time of worship. But while people are getting on, we'll just strum the guitar a little bit and just maybe take a minute or two and just get things ready. Start with this song.
Sure, you can do that.
Little intro.
Sure.
So I wrote 30 seconds delayed, but okay. That sounds good.
Yeah, it does.
It's coming through. Here it is. Let's just see who's joining us this morning. Yeah, we had a sermon ready, and we actually recorded it yesterday, and we heard just news that's going on in the community that we want to share with you guys, and just thought it'd be best to just do a little music. Joe's going to lead us in some songs, lead us in a worship time to just connect as a community, pray for the families that are really going through some hard times. And I'm sure there's more people that we're not aware of that are going through it. And so we can just bring all of our stuff together into this space and praying in our own hearts in your house, and we just hope this can be a place where we can process some of this stuff going on. If you have family members that have been sick, unexpected tragedy has come up, and we just want to be here as a church family for you guys how we can. And Gordy's with us in heart and spirit, and on video he wanted to be in here with us and share, but just keeping the social distance. He just made this decision and said that we could just share on his behalf, and hope you guys got that email from him. Yeah, you want to just start with the song?
Yeah, we can start with the song. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. morning, those of you joining us. We're doing things a little different this morning. We had some other stuff set up and ready to go, but due to some circumstances that we had kind of come up in our community just last night, we are doing things a little different this morning. So we're just gonna kind of be creating a space for worship and for prayer and just to kind of rally together and support each other in some pretty trying times for some of us, for a lot of us.
Should I say specifically?
Yeah.
So yeah, we sent out an email with details. Last night, we were just at the house and got a phone call just from Justice Minardi, one of our core families at the church, and Bupp, who's an elder at the church, his father, and just got news from the family that Justice's mom passed away yesterday. And without getting into too much detail, it wasn't with COVID or anything. She was struggling just with mental health and took her life. And so we just with talking with Justice, and he was driving back here from being out of town, and we just didn't feel it was the time for us to just do our normal message. And there's been other tragedies too. The Zwallens, Brian and Ashley, their niece Brooklyn, passed away unexpectedly as well last week, and I'm sure there's others too. And I think it's just huge to have these spaces where we can be together. Like me even just being in shock last night, hearing the news. I just got on the phone with Gordy, and just sitting on the phone together, you know, was so huge for me. And so we just kind of want to hang out here with you guys, even though we can't see you face to face, but we can just kind of be processing. And there's a lot of different, you know, as a community, there's a lot of different griefs, and we can't mention all of them. But just as we play some songs this morning, and you know, we just we really want to take time for these things and not be too quick to give answers or too quick to speak on behalf of God, or and just spend time to slow down for a second. And so we're just going to send out our prayers to the family, to Bupp and his family, especially the Minardis, their friends, our church community. This is just a massive loss, and it's all, you know, we just don't know what each other are struggling with on Sunday mornings all the time. And I'd love for this to help us just take off the mask, or just take off our smile sometimes. And it's okay. It's okay. As I think Maggie was saying the other night on a call with all the young adults, it's okay to not be okay, and to be together in it. The word is solidarity. And just real quick, I'll just say, I was listening to a book the other day, and for some reason, burdens are so heavy to carry alone. And when we carry them alone, we don't have much strength for it. But for some reason, when we share that burden with people and when we're in community, there's a new strength that's given when we carry it together. And and that's one of the intentions of this community, is that we're not alone, and we do carry these together. And this morning, as we cry, as we sing, as we pray, as we thank God for just today and the moment, we just want to just be together with you guys. So it's not much of a show. It's all good if you guys are busy with stuff, but whoever wants to be on here, that's just kind of the space this morning.
Just to speak a little bit into that space, one of my visions that I kind of had for what we could do this morning was to just kind of give, like, those of you guys that knew Janie, or knew Brooklyn, or have another tragedy going on in your life or your family, just kind of give you permission to just, like, feel those things, just as we're playing some songs. And if you're with somebody, like, just give each other permission, and just kind of, let's just kind of allow whatever comes to just come. And it's like Seth said, it's like, it's all okay. Whatever you want to express or feel or whatever, like, it's kind of a blessing that we can be in the comfort of our homes for this, like, there's nobody watching and nobody judging. So, I think for me and my grief journey that I've kind of been on, that was one of the hardest lessons for me to learn, was like, giving myself permission to grieve and giving myself spaces where I could do that. And so if I can just pray really quick before we go on to this next song. Father God, we just come before you this morning with broken hearts and not very many answers, but you're bigger than we can ever wrap our minds around. And your love is so all-encompassing for all of us. We can never even begin to understand it. And so I just ask, God, that your presence would just go out this morning.
Thanks, God.
To whoever's watching this video, and to those that are not, that are mourning. Just fill them with supernatural peace right now, and just let this be a time where we can, as a community, grieve and let our emotions come and let ourselves be comforted by you. And there's not really ever any right words to say in times like these, or right prayers to pray. So we just give you our hearts, and we just give you our sadness, and we offer up to you our tears and our whatever songs we can manage to get out. And we just want to come before you and trust that your light is present even in the darkest valleys of death. And we say this in Jesus' name. Amen. if you guys are with your families at home right now, or just grab somebody's hand and maybe pray with each other for just whatever's on your heart. Just cry together if you feel like you need to, or if you want to, or if it comes. And these are pretty classic songs, so if you feel like it, you can sing along. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. This is the air. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. Oh, and I'm desperate for you. Ooh. And I'm lost without you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily
when I was going through some tough times with dealing with the death of my best friend at the time, or my childhood best friend, I used to just like have these moments where it felt like the floor just fell out, and I'd feel just lost and empty and weak and like humiliated. It's hard to describe this, like I failed, like regrets or how far down am I gonna fall, and just fear and dealing with that. And I used to just go to my room, and this is right when I was starting to seek God and try to find a connection to Him. And this is one of the scriptures that I would go to, and when I read it, I could just feel the Spirit of God just speaking it to me. And I just want to read it for all of us. It's from Isaiah chapter 43, and it's just God speaking. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I called you by name, you're mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, and the flame shall not consume you. And I remember just feeling like I was going to drown, and if I let myself feel it, I didn't know how far down I would go. And when I read this, I heard God say to me, I don't have to be afraid. I can feel those things. I can let myself sink in, sink down, and think about it, share stories about it, cry about it, let tears flow about it. And after I sink down, then God lifted me back up. And I just want to encourage us with all of our grief processes, just as we're learning how to grieve as a community. Some may be more experienced or been through more stuff than others, but as a community, for all of us to have that courage and vulnerability. And when it hurts, to feel it, and to know that it's not going to be too much. The fire isn't going to burn you up. You can walk through it, and you can walk through these waters. They're not going to overwhelm you. And it's a beautiful thing to be together, to mourn together. And just for if any of you guys want just a little more, all these chapters 40 through 50 is amazing. That was like my go-to. Isaiah 40, through all the way through 55, 60. It's just God speaking, and that was where I found a lot of my healing. And I just wanted to share that with you guys as we keep going.
No way. Yeah, this is an old one, isn't it? Yeah, thank you.
It's like a Michael W. Smith.
Is it?
I think he has a version of it, but this is a good one.
Let's see if I can
have some tissue.
Sing it. I know. Tissue break. Surrender all to Him. I freely
God, I just want to lift up the Minardi family to you. We just come around them as a church. We just pray for your peace, just to fall from heaven into their home, surround them right now. The fear and the darkness, that it would just fall away. We just disarm any of those things, any accusations from the enemy. We just pray for your protection around them during this time. I just pray for a healing in their hearts. I pray for just their ears to open to you, to hear your voice, to hear you speaking to them, to hear you consoling them, that your mercy is so huge, and wherever there is darkness, light shines through, and you are there, God. Even in the depths, you're there. In Sheol, even in the heights, you are there. There's no place we can go apart from you. And that we don't hold these things in our hands. You give life, God, and it's so hard when it's gone. It's so hard when it's cut short. And God, I just pray for your spirit to hold all that brokenness, to hold our discouragement, to hold our doubts. I pray for a space, permission to grieve, to be angry, to process.
Yes, God.
I pray for just protection in their hearts, their ears. Just as they go about things, remind them of this tragedy, triggers, things that just bring back that emotion. And I pray for a new way for them to see those triggers, that they wouldn't have to numb themselves from them or wouldn't have to fear them. But in fact, they could feel them with courage and just drink it in. And just thinking about that verse, my friend Wes was telling me last night that we carry both death and resurrection in our bodies. Both the life and death of Jesus is carried in us. And as we feel death, the more we can feel life. And the more we feel life, the more we feel death. And to not be afraid of either side, and to hold each sacredly, that we don't have to pretend it's not there. We don't have to pretend we're further along than we really are. But God, I pray for a courage to just be right exactly where we are in that process. And this is an eternal thing. Life is an eternal thing. Our days here is temporary, but in this big picture, you hold it all, God, and you're creating things, you're moving things, you're leading things, and even when we fall, you catch us, and your mercy just reaches out. And I just think of that verse when it says that Jesus wept, and that when his friend Lazarus died, his humanity can feel it. His humanity does feel it. And we see you weeping with us, God. We see your heart breaking with us with this tragedy. We see that this wasn't you, but you're suffering with us. The divine Son of God suffering with us in our pain. Put us just how profound that life never ends.
Yes.
That we just transport to another side, and there's precious things happening right here, but there's also things happening just on that other side, just like when we're in a dream. Who we are is always with you, and I know that those we love, I know that our lost mothers and fathers and brothers and friends, we can trust you with it. We don't understand how it all works, but we know that you're willing to give it all, to come right into our mess and look into the eyes of broken people and say, you're redeemed. And we trust you with that, God. We know that your love is bigger than anything we can imagine, any one of our little perspectives. For you to leave heaven, for you to leave where you are, come down, humble yourself, and give it all to tell broken sinners that you love them. And there is a sacrificial laying down of everything you were so that we could be with you and that you could break through that darkness that is between us. And I just cast out any of those barriers, God, any of that fear, any of that judgment, any of that brokenness, that you cleared it out. And I just see this morning that veil is torn wide open into your presence.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how broken we are, we can come running into your presence and into your light. Whether we're on this side or on the other side, we're running into your light.
Yeah.
And while we have these few days, God, would you just do a work in this whole community? Would you increase our capacity to feel, increase our capacity to enjoy each other, increase our capacity to connect and look each other in the eyes. And all of us are going to die. All of us are going to go to the other side. Some of us before others. And today, just whoever we're with, that we could hold their hand, we could tell them our true feelings, we could tell them how we love them.
Amen.
We could forgive things that are small.
Amen.
We could let go of pettiness. I thank you for that purification that happens through death, where everything that matters rises to the top. And so we just let go of all those things we've been carrying, God, that just don't matter. Like how we look, our reputation, stressing over toilet paper. It's all good. Like, God, I pray that this fire would just burn away those small things that have been causing bitterness in our heart and causing division among us. And God, would you just bring this amazing commonality just in us, in this church, in this community, that we're all weak, we're all needy, we all need something more, we all need you, we all need each other, we all need a hug, we all need affirmation, we all need a leader, we all need someone to just reach our hand out to. And God, would you build that amazing community during this time?
Yes, God.
I know that, Holy Spirit, you move through us, we're your hands and feet. Breathe courage into us when it's on our heart to reach out to somebody, when it's on our heart to shoot a text, when it's on our heart just to drive by and honk the horn at a family, that it would be a joyful thing, that it would be a courageous thing. We call up our parents, call up our family members. Today's a beautiful gift. And that's a big perspective. And in America, it just rocks our framework in our mind. I just think about the Fijian brothers that I've been living with out there, and would you give us that mindset, God, how somehow they can see that cycle, that circle, that we're born, we live, and we go back to you. And the way they see it, I don't know how to describe it, but there's something about it that's beautiful and it's free. And I just remember going to the house in the village where everybody gathered and just cried and wailed. And it was just, I've never experienced anything like it, where grief could just be poured out in a hut. And you could hear it from miles away, just a wailing of the women, just wailing of the men. And they lifted up the body, the coffin, and they carried it through the village. And they all kiss it, and they all say goodbye, and they all say, "We'll see you again." And then the whole village, they go and they dig the grave. And the whole village grabs the soil, and they throw it on top, and they bury it. And it's part of the community, this life and death and the preciousness of the day. And God, I pray that you would bring us there, here. I pray that we could come down by the Creekside and just feel your presence, that nothing is lost. Nothing's lost. It's all in your hands. it's lost on our side for a little bit, but in reality, no one and nothing is outside of your reach, God.
Yes, God. Amen.
And death does bring life, and life holds that. And just grow our understanding of you and how you weren't afraid of the grave. Jesus, you weren't afraid at all. You were ready.
Wow.
You knew that it would explode something bigger, and we just entrust ourselves to you, God. Our lives, would you lead us? We surrender to you, that we could live our days, that we could pour into our family, pour into our friends, let go of everything, let your love flow. And I just feel it this morning that love is just being poured out so powerfully through this. It's bigger than our culture right now. So we mourn and we celebrate all at the same time. You know, I celebrate that, you know, those who've gone, they're with you, God. We can trust you. And we mourn their loss, and we're going to miss them so much. But just increase our souls to hold both of those things.
Wow. Yeah.
And to live with both of those things, that we could just be a substantive people, a loving people, a wise people. We want to see what you see, God, and we want to have your heart. We want to live like you live.
Amen.
And we just say all these things in that amazing, mighty, powerful name and way and life of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Amen.
Sing one more. Just gonna
Password.
do, Lord, I give you my heart.
Might still need that verse.
Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry.
But yeah, we'll just close with one more song. We love you guys. Text us. Feel free to call. Feel free to process. You know, let's just try to be really, really discerning and really sensitive, compassionate in how we go about, you know, grief. We don't, you know, I think right now we can just lay down all the questions. We don't need to go investigating, but we can lift up prayer and we can shoot out texts. And I know the families would love it. All the families that are going through it right now in our whole nation, you know, we're all going through it. And so, yeah, we love you guys. Just thank you for doing this a little bit different with us this morning. Thank you, my baby.
Thank you, Seth.
I didn't know what to do. She knew. Not your first time around these parts.
Well,
But yeah, and let's just thank Gordy. You know, he's all in it with us, and we have an amazing community to lean into, just to lay our you know, our burdens down with each other.
Lord, I give you my heart, give you my soul. I live for you alone.
I live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. Lord, have your way in me. Have your way. Have your way in me. Have your way. Lord, have your way in me. Have your way. Lord, have your way in me. Have your way. Lord, have your way in me. Have your way. Have your way. Chorus one more time. Lord, I give you my heart. I give you my soul. I live for you alone. Every breath that I take, every moment I'm awake. Lord, have your way in me. I'll close this in a prayer. Share something.
Yeah. Maybe just read that if I can find it really quick.
What verse is it?
I think it's Psalm 94. This isn't the one I was looking for, but this is Psalm 95, verses 3 through 5. For the Lord is the great God, the great King above all gods. In his hand are the depths of the earth, and the mountain peaks belong to him. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. It goes on to just say, let us bow down, let us kneel before our Maker, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, the flock under his care. And I hope we can leave this space this morning just feeling that, like, endless presence. He goes deeper than the deepest oceans and like higher than the sky, and all the way from the east to the west and all that, you know, like he's everywhere. And so yeah, thanks for joining us this morning.
Man, we love you guys.
Love
Thanks
you
for that
guys.
prayer time, that worship. That was awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon or see you soon somewhere, or yeah, but we love you guys.